everybody to the Finish Strong webinar. And clearly there's a lot of buzz around this. I see over 100 people on the line right now. There were over 630 people that registered for this. And honestly, I'm not sure how much this line holds. So all of you that are here right now, congratulations on getting here and getting here early enough to get a spot. If any of you are, if you're banging on the door and can't get in, then obviously you can't hear my voice right now. So if you're listening to the recording because you couldn't get on the line, I apologize. But I am really, really excited to share this webinar with you. I know a lot of people are at least at the recording time of this webinar, a lot of people are in this phase of really focusing at the end of the seminar year. If you're listening to the recording and we're not right at the end of the seminar year, most of this recording is going to be focused on how do you finish the year. But quite frankly, honestly, this can be used for any goal that you have. It doesn't matter if it's just heading into the end of the seminar year or if it's a goal with a game plan or a deadline that you set on yourself. I mean, it's just really how to finish all of your goals strong. But the context of this webinar will definitely be toward the end of the seminar year because I know that's where a lot of you are. And what we need to do is we need to do three things. We need to do three re's. We need to reassess, we need to refocus, and we need to recommit to your seminar goals. And in a little bit, we're going to get into the content. I'm going to share with you 10 transformations that you absolutely need to make in order to finish your year strong and get as close as you possibly can to your goals, if not achieve all of their goals. Before we get in, bottom left-hand corner, you can see we've got a brand new training blog. Many of you have been on the blog. If you haven't, go to pinkcaddycoach.com. Check it out. Our new branding is up. I'm going to be doing a lot more audios and videos and articles specifically for the Mary Kay crowd. It's been years, actually, since I've been doing things just for the Mary Kay crowd online. Most of my content has been not specific to anybody. It's just been entrepreneurs. But I've decided to sort of resurrect the Pink Caddy Coach. And pinkcaddycoach.com is now live. We've got free warm chatter training audios. All you got to do is in the top right-hand corner, put your name and email address. Many of you already signed up for that when you register for the webinar, and hopefully you've been getting great content for that. But check out pinkcaddycoach.com, bookmark it, and come back often because that's where I'll be delivering a lot of stuff to you in the Mary Kay, for the Mary Kay ladies. Allie says there's no video. Yeah, the audio or the video is on, Allie. I apologize. Other people do see it, so there might just be something up with your system. I apologize for that, but we'll get you the recordings later on. Okay, I'm going to jump into the slides. First of all, congratulations on attending this webinar. I know there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing, and what I want to tell you is this is basically what we're going to do tonight. Over the next little bit of time that we have together, I'm going to be teaching some of the content that I usually teach in my highest level training programs or my private coaching programs. And the whole goal is really to help you finish the year strong, to help you achieve your seminar goals. I know a lot of you have this, anxiety right now about some of the goals that you had, and you're not sure if it's going to work or not, and what have you. And then, or at the very least, get as close to, to those goals as possible. And then finally, this is the most important piece. Have fun along the way, because if you're not having fun, what's the point, right? And I want to speak to the middle one here for a moment because a lot of people are sitting here wondering if they're going to get their goals or not. And that is a very disempowering, defeating question. The bottom line is we don't know. Nobody knows where you're going to be at the end of June 30th. What I do know is that you can make a decision from now forward to go for it as best you possibly can. But what a lot of people do is they don't commit to their goals because they spend too much time thinking, am I going to get it or not? Should I go for the car or not? Should I continue going for the trip or not? Who cares? Just go for it. Don't sit around wondering whether you're going to get it. Just get into the ring and go for it. Any energy that you spend wondering is basically worrying, and you're focusing on a question that's unanswerable, and that doesn't help you be in the present moment. So every time you find yourself wandering, your mind thinking about, am I going to get my goals or not? You've got to come back to the present moment. You've got to ask yourself, what can I do right now, because any of that worry is not going to help you take action. All right, my intention for this webinar is pretty simple. I'm not going to overwhelm you with a lot of how-tos. Let's be honest, that is not the problem that you're challenged with, although that's what a lot of people are searching for. That's not the problem. Instead, what we're going to be doing is going deeper into the inner game, some of the mental shifts and transformations that you have to make in order to achieve the long-term success and sustainability of your business. And I'm really into sustainability, meaning who cares about short-term success? I want you to build a business that lasts, right? So tonight, I don't want to inform you. I want to ignite you. Hopefully my little effects showed up on your end. I'm, pretty new to this whole keynote presentation. I'm having a little bit of fun, but I really want to ignite you. It's really taking that heart that you see on the screen there and lighting it on fire so that you can truly go for your goals, go for your dreams, right? Now, on this webinar, you are absolutely in the right place if you're not where you want to be. Many of you know that this is one of the phrases that really makes me crazy. Almost every time I ask somebody in the Mary Kay world, tell me about your business, where are you? I would say most of the time I get the phrase, well, I'm not where I want to be. Like there's this disclaimer that you've got to put out there so that people know that, you're not where you want to be. You'll never be where you want to be. I've never met a person that doesn't want more. So by you just saying, well, I'm not where I want to be, is totally disempowering. And all it's doing is putting your mind and your focus on everything you haven't achieved. And that doesn't help you go forward. So I don't want you to ever say again, I'm not where I want to be. It is an illegitimate phrase. It's ridiculous. It holds you back. It's not valid whatsoever. So remove it from your vocabulary. And if you have that thought, great, you're in the right place. The second piece here is you are serious about success, and even more important than your seriousness is your willingness to do what it takes for as long as it takes to intentionally build a powerful business. And finally, you are willing to take action. If you're not willing to take action, you can collect all the information that you want and you won't move forward. You've got to go for your dreams instead of just sitting around wishing that everything will show up for you, right? Implementation trumps information every day of the week. You've got to move. You've got to go. There are too many people out there getting ready to get 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 ready, and pretty soon they're ready to get ready again. No, go. Take action. You are ready right now. If you've been in this business more than 48 hours, you have most of the information that you'll ever know, that you'll ever need to know, and at least you have access to the information if you haven't gone through it yet. You have enough information. Go. Take action. That's the way you learn. That's the only way that you can collect feedback and keep striving and keep learning, right? So you have to be willing to take action. Now, you are in the wrong place. Basically, if you're just the opposite of everything I just said, if you just want to learn more information, you're in the wrong place. If you're not ready to take action and implement, you're in the wrong place. If you're not willing to invest the necessary time, the energy, and the money to building a successful business, you're in the wrong place. Now, I know that's not you. Otherwise, I don't think you would have shown up to this webinar. So this is how it's going to work. We'll be going roughly for about 60 minutes or so, maybe, and then we'll have time for Q&A. And type your questions as you think of them or write them down. You can go ahead and type them in as you go. I'm not going to, right now we've got 127 people on the line, so I'm not really going to monitor the questions and answer them as they come in. I might scroll over there periodically and ask. So you can go ahead and put them down or write them down, and I will answer them as best I can during the Q&A session afterwards, right? Now, my challenge for you is don't take notes of information. Don't just try to copy down the stuff that I have on these slides. This recording will be available later. I'll show you how to get an audio of it later. You'll be able to watch the video. Don't just capture the information that you're going to have access to later anyway. What I want you to do is take notes of inspiration. Capture the thoughts that my words on the screen or my words coming out of my mouth ignite in you. I want you to get inspired by this call. I don't want you to just capture the information off of the screen or the stuff that I say. Don't, words are not, I mean, words are powerful, but you writing the words that I'm telling you down on a piece of paper are not powerful. I want you to write down your ideas. I want you to get inspired, and ultimately, I want you to get into action. Now, as I said, I'll let you know how to continue the learning process later, and I'll also give you a link to the recording later on as well, because we're going to go quickly. I love this picture of the little turtle with a rocket on. It's like, come on, baby, let's go. We're going to go quickly. Some of you might have trouble catching it all, but stick around to the end. I'm going to show you how to get a recording so you can listen to it again and again and again and again and again. Now, let's start with what's possible, right? It's absolutely possible for you to create a very significant income while helping a lot of people in the process. I just got, even though I said I wasn't going to monitor these, I did just get a comment by somebody who said she just got the app downloaded and she's on her phone, which is cool. Yeah, GoToWebinar has an app that you can put on your phone. Anyway, I was intrigued by that, and I just wanted to call that out. But it's absolutely possible to create a very significant income while helping a ton of people in the process. And all of you know, excuse me, sorry, I think I just swallowed something I wasn't supposed to swallow. All of you know that the freedom and lifestyle in the direct sales industry, Mary Kay specifically, is second to none. You can make as much money as you want. You can have as much free time as you want, as long as you're willing to put in the effort. But here's the problem. The vast majority of consultants and directors in this company, and this is not a Mary Kay problem, this is across the board in all direct sales companies, but it's true in Mary Kay also. They don't have the business they hoped for. They don't have the business they had planned on. I know this is sad. I'm not trying to burst any bubbles out there, but the reality is that's the truth. And many men and women are actually more stressed out and have less time and less financial freedom than they had when they were working their jobs. So that's just the reality of all of direct sales. Most people get in, they don't do it the right way, they don't do the work on themselves, they don't clear out whatever's holding them back internally, and it's not an opportunity that works when you sign your name on the dotted line. It's an opportunity that works when you work it properly. And part of working it properly is working on yourself. So if you're not willing to do that game, Mary Kay won't work for you. No other direct sales company is going to work for you. And life really won't work for you. You won't get your goals until you're willing to do the work and stay committed to being on that journey. And part of that journey is the internal game, right? So what most people do is they get stuck in the internal quicksand of the how-tos, the secret sauces, the what-ifs, the why-not me's, and all of that just leads to this underlying story that most of us have called I'm not something enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'll never succeed. All of those limiting beliefs that really hold us back. If you don't do the work on yourself that's required to succeed in a business like Mary Kay, you will fall to this internal programming, because this is programming that we all get. We've been programmed this way by our parents, by our schools, by every institution we've ever learned from, by our media. None of it is intentional, but it's the way that we are programmed. So this opportunity really allows you to come face to face with everything you've got to work on yourself, and that's the beauty of it. And if you do that work, you'll enjoy the process, you'll enjoy the journey, you'll enjoy your life. Oh, and by the way, you'll be more successful. Probably in that order, actually, even though most people are trying to go in the opposite order, right? And so what happens is if you don't do that work, you're not going to realize your potential. The seekers that you can help are not going to get helped. What I mean by that is there's somebody out there, there's plenty of people out there right now who are seeking an opportunity. And every time you see somebody and decide not to talk to them, you are choosing not to offer a solution to somebody's pain. Every time you have a phone number and you don't follow up with them, you are choosing not to help somebody else who might be on their knees praying for an opportunity to come into their life. And those people don't look like they're desperate a lot of times. Those are the people that come out of banks. They just came out of a job as a banker. or maybe they're an attorney, or maybe they just have this successful brick and mortar business, but they're just not fulfilled. You can't tell whether somebody's fulfilled or not just by looking at them. So one of the biggest mistakes people make is they simply don't offer the chance to other people who might be dying inside. They might be totally unfulfilled. On the outside, they look all put together. They look professional. They look like they would never need an opportunity like this. But look to your left and look to your right within this business, and you'll find tons of people just like this who will tell you, if that person hadn't have told me about this opportunity, I would have stayed in my very successful but unfulfilling career. I was making $50,000, $100,000, multiple six figures, and yet I wasn't happy until somebody introduced me to this business. So shame on you if you keep the gold to yourself. You have the answer to people's prayers, and how dare you? How dare you keep that from them? Shame on us if we don't do everything we possibly can to get in front of the people who are dying inside, who are unfulfilled inside, who are hollow inside, who are praying and searching and seeking an opportunity to change their life. And that covers most of the population. How dare we don't get in front of those people and just open our mouths and say sounds? Just make sounds with your mouth. That's really what we're talking about. And they are in turn going to open their mouth and they're going to make sounds. Why does it have to be any harder than that? And I'm not trying to be shallow and insensitive, because I know the internal game makes it harder than that. But when we really break it down, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about an opportunity that you have to change people's lives. And if you're afraid of what might come out of somebody else's mouth, you're choosing not to offer help to somebody who might be on their knees praying for something to be delivered to them right now. And the anger that they have, or the unfulfillment that they have, might be getting projected onto their kids. They might be emotionally neglecting their children. They might be hitting their children. All of that unfulfillment might be showing up in their marriage. It might be showing up in all of their relationships. How dare we keep that, the solution, from people who are stuck in a state of disempowerment? I think almost everybody is in a state of disempowerment. How dare we hold that from them? We're not here to judge who gets this opportunity and who doesn't. We have an obligation to offer it to anybody who might fit the profile. And we can't tell just by looking at them. So this is not about you getting to Cadillac. This is not about you getting to the end of your seminar goals. This is not about you going on the trip. This is not about you becoming a director. This is not about you making money. This is about them. And as soon as it's more about them than it is about you, then all of your fears, which only show up when you're focused on you, pretty much go away. So how can we shift from me to them? When you do that, virtually all of the obstacles will go away. So that's what I'm passionate about. I don't know, you might have been able to tell by how my voice just went up a notch, and the rapidness in my voice. But this is what gets me really excited. It's not about getting goals, it's about serving other people. And if you don't figure this game out, and if you're not able to make it work, if you're not able to do the work, it's not a matter of being able. If you choose not to do the work on yourself, if you choose not to make this work, then chances are you're going to quit, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to lick your wounds, and quite possibly retreat. That has to stop, because there are too many people out there who have their hand raised, not in reality, but emotionally. They have their hand raised saying, will somebody please help me? We have a duty, we have an obligation to help those people. Now, some of this stuff that gets in people's way, none of this is going to be new to you. It's procrastination, perfectionism, the fear of success, failure, rejection, collecting too much information, people getting stuck on getting ready, staying stuck, people's lack of confidence or self-esteem, people being overwhelmed with all their life circumstances, time management issues, etc., etc., etc. Listen, all of these are only valid stoppers when you're looking at the world through your perspective. When you're focused on personal gain, these all show up. When you are focused on service, all of these disappear. They disappear. And it doesn't mean that you're immediately going to attract all the success in the world, but all of the internal obstacles virtually go away immediately when you're focused on serving others. You know, we could be done, right? Like we could just be done with the call. I mean, I won't end because I've got more stuff to share. Spent a lot of time making these slides, but we truly could be done. You know, it's really about not can I get my goals by the end of June, but how many people can I serve by the end of June? And by default, accidentally, as a byproduct of that, you're going to get a lot closer to your goals, if not achieve your goals, if it's a byproduct of service. And if it's not a byproduct of service, I hope you don't get them anyway. I'm serious about that. I'm serious about it energetically because I just don't think that this is a game of what can you accomplish. But I also hope that for you, because if you build this business only focused on what you can accomplish, it's not going to be long lasting. So here's what most consultants and directors just want. This is in my experience. What you just want is people that are going to try harder. These are the things that I hear all the time. You want people who are going to follow through on their word. You just want the confidence internally and the clarity of what to do and what to say. You want it to be fun and simple. And the bottom line is you just want to make really good money, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If it's coming from service and you as a byproduct make a ton of money, good for you. If you just make a bunch of money so that you can spend it, or it's coming from ego, or so that it fulfills, some hole of you not being good enough, that's not good. That's not going to last. It's not going to be fulfilling. But there's nothing wrong with being well compensated for helping a lot of people. But what most people have is stress and struggle and just a lot of inconsistency from one month to the next. And this is an industry of roller coasters if you don't work it consistently and if you don't really do it the proper way, right? So here's my first and most important message to you is that you can absolutely do this. I don't know who you are individually, obviously. I don't know what your particular circumstances are in life, but I know if you lock on to the fire that's inside of you, you can do this. I don't know what this is for you. For some of you, it means getting into your red jacket. For some of you, it means becoming a director. For some of you, it means becoming a national, and anywhere in between. But this, to me, means achieving success while enjoying the journey. That's the most important this that I'm focused on, that I care about, is enjoying the journey. Because we don't know how long we're going to be here. We don't know when our last breath is going to be. Don't get caught up in the struggle and the success or the trap, rather, of chasing tangible success. So you can absolutely do this. It's possible to make a great living if the odds are stacked in your favor, if you pay attention, if you catch the lessons, if you do the work on yourself that you're supposed to do, and you've got the right tools, you've got the guidance, and you've got the preparation, just like our little guy here, right? Luckily, we don't actually really need, helmets to go out there, but we do need preparation on some level. Not the preparation that most people are waiting for, which is I need more skills, I need more information, I need to be able to answer more of the questions. We need to be prepared internally, we need to be prepared mentally. And if you have all of that stuff, this is absolutely possible for you. So here's why I'm here today, okay? I'm here today because I know you're a person of service, and I know you have a goal to help as many people as you possibly can while building your Mary Kay business at the same time and fulfilling your purpose. If that wasn't you, I don't think you would have been attracted to my message or my energy. I don't think you would have shown up tonight to listen live or to listen to the replay. So my purpose is to really hold a space open for you to bet on yourself. You know what? Most people beat themselves up so much that they are no longer even rooting for themselves. If you have lost yourself from your corner, if you are no longer your biggest fan, if you do not have that internal desire to jump in front of any obstacle and fight for yourself, then the battle is pretty much already lost. If you're the kind of person that beats yourself up constantly, if you're the kind of person that doesn't believe the words that come out of your mouth anymore because you've lied to yourself and you've lived outside of integrity for a long time, if you're the kind of person who is your biggest enemy and your worst critic, that must change. That must change. There was a point in your life when you wouldn't have even considered, it wouldn't have even been a thought for you to tear yourself down. And for those of you with kids, if you heard anybody speaking to your children the way you speak to yourself, they would have a fight on their hands. You would jump in front of them and you would make it clear that that would not be tolerated. So if you would fight against anybody who spoke to your children or a good friend of yours that way, then why do you tolerate it for yourself? You've got to be willing to bet on yourself. Everybody that I know that's done anything significant with their lives at some point in time has taken everything they've had. They've taken their money, they've taken all of their emotional capital, they've taken all of the risk, they've taken everything they've had, and they've bet it on themselves. You have everything you need. But not while you're tearing yourself down, you don't. You have everything you need inside of you to achieve every last goal you have and to help all the people out there that are waiting for you, but you've got to bet on yourself. You've got to bet on the person that God made you to be. You've got to put all of your energy, all of your focus, all of your resources internally on what you have, not focus on all of this, what you don't have, garbage. That's nonsense. You've got to bet on yourself. And if I do nothing else tonight, then light a fire under you so that you have the willingness and you take that chance to bet everything you have on yourself, then I'm happy. And you've got to be willing to jump in that ring and get into a good fight for every last one of your goals and your dreams because they are important to you. You have a little boy or a little girl inside of you that is still desperately wanting the goals that you once had when you were a little child. Do not stop fighting for that little child inside of you. That's where your courage really, truly lies. And all of those dreams that you once had, you still have. Don't give up on those dreams. So you've got to be willing to get into a good fight for everything you want. And I know that you are meant to play a bigger game. I know that. I know that you are meant to win. I know that you want to win. So we've got to do what it takes from an internal perspective to clear all of that garbage away so that you can win. And I'll tell you, I'm on a mission. I want to do everything I possibly can to help as many people get through the internal blocks that I overcame about 7 years ago, to live a life of passion, to live a life of purpose, and to live a life of presence. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about me. If you don't know me, my name is Sean Smith. I'm a father and I'm a husband first. This is my beautiful and amazing family. Everything I do is second to them. My wife's name is Sybil. My daughter in the middle there is McKenna, and my little son is Exley. McKenna's 11 and X is 7 right now. And they're amazing. You know, they can bring me to my knees in any moment. And it's truly what I live for, who I live for. And I know all of you, whether you have a family or not, you've got something to live for. You got something deep inside that you're willing to fight for. And this life is so short, and we don't know when it's going to end. I almost died when I was 13 years old. In 1987, I was nearly killed. I should have, 1986 rather, I should have died by all of the details of the event. I was hit by a car doing 50 miles an hour. And I learned that day that no matter how high we are on life, no matter where we are, we're not promised our next breath. So it was in that moment that I really decided, I made a promise to myself that I was going to do everything I possibly can to not live a life of mediocrity. And then I was firmly entrenched in a life of mediocrity for about 20 years. And it wasn't until I got in the personal development journey in 2005 that I had a massive breakthrough at a seminar that I was at. And I dropped this limiting belief, this story, this garbage story that I've been telling myself that I wasn't good enough for basically 26 and a half years of my life. And I decided that I just want to do that for other people. So I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to be, a trainer. I wanted to do my own live events and so forth. And in 2006, I started on the journey toward helping athletes. And then in February of 2006, I sort of fell into the world of Mary Kay, where a couple of Mary Kay ladies came to my athletic event and said, "Will you teach this to us? Because we want this too." And I reluctantly said yes a few months later after saying absolutely not in the beginning, and fell in love with the energy. I fell in love. Here's the deal. I like being around hungry people. I like being around people who are foaming at the mouth with desire for something more. I want to hang around people who are salivating for opportunities. I don't want to hang around the people who are watching the news, complaining about all the bad stuff that's going on, creating misery in their life, focusing on the economy, focusing on the things that the president and and our Congress are doing that we don't have much control over. I don't want to hang around those people that are focused on everything that's wrong with the world and creating misery all around them. I don't want to live that life. I want to hang around the people that are looking at the sun beyond the clouds. I want to hang around the people that are finding opportunity, not focused on all the negativity. I want to hang around the people that live life with desire, not from fear. I want to hang around those people, and I found a lot of them in the Mary Kay world, and I said, let's go. So I jumped in, and I pretty much haven't left, right? So that's how I came across this whole Mary Kay world in the first place, and that's where I've been for a long, long time, and I've been studying the world. But let me tell you what's on my heart right now. What's on my heart right now, and I think this is what's creating a lot of the passion so far in this webinar, is just, this journey of life, right? Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of my mom's death. And my mom and I didn't have a very good relationship growing up, but because of the work I did on myself, I was finally willing and able to receive the love that she'd been giving and offering my whole life. And so we patched up a lot of the issues that we had that were all my issues growing up. And she really taught me a lot about unconditional love and support. Man, she loved her grandkids. She was the paint grandma because she always taught them how to paint. And so what's on my heart right now, especially with the 1 year anniversary of my mom's passing, is, just why am I here? What have I done? Right? I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. I don't know how much longer I have to live, but I do know that I'm not done. I do know that I want to help more people. I do know that I want to experience more things in my life. I do know that I've got more inside of me. I've got songs that I haven't sung yet, and I know you do too. So it's really about getting clear on why you're here and tapping into that and staying plugged into that and fight for that. Many of you also know that about 2.5 years ago, my father passed away from cancer, and he was just a beautiful man. One of my absolute best friends. We never got into an argument. I had never been mad at that man. My wife just absolutely adored him. My kids adored him. And my dad was very significant in my life because in the journey that I now have, or that I'm now traveling, especially in my teaching and training, because when my dad was with us in his final 80 days, he lived in our home when he was dying from cancer. And in my last conversation, I said, Dad, how can I live your legacy when you're gone? And with no hesitation, in this moment of just amazing, deathbed wisdom, if you will, he said three things. He said, Shawnee, just be who you can be, do what you can do, and live a good life. And I felt like he had passed a torch on to me, like this is what life is really about. And it was so profound to me. And I think, we get caught up all the time in chasing our goals and chasing all this tangible stuff, and we forget that this is what it's about. It's about just doing our best. It's about being there for other people. It's about living a good life. Anything that shows up, if we do these three things, anything that shows up is just icing on the cake, and it's all not all that important anyway. It's okay to go for all that stuff, but not in the sacrifice of these three pieces, right? Just be who you can be, do what you can do, live a good life. I now have that on my license plate that I carry around, or not carry around, but I've got it on my car that I drive around with all the time as a reminder of my dad. So that's the energy that I think we all need to bring into our life in general and in our business specifically. A few weeks ago, I had a tremendous privilege of hosting a seminar in the Mary Kay world called Coaches Camp. Many of you heard about it. Some of you that are listening right now were there and you attended. And I would say the biggest theme out of the whole week was just it was about being. It was about who you are. It wasn't about what you do. And we had a wonderful lady, Margie Alaprandi, who has 250,000 people on her team. She's a multi-millionaire in the direct sales world. And everybody who had the chance to be in her space for 5 full days will tell you the same thing. What they walked away with is it's not about the doing. It's about the being. And when you can be who you truly are, and when you can really serve other people, then all the doing stuff is so much easier, right? And that's my message. Those of you that have been around me long enough, that's my message, because that is the majority of this game. I think 90% of your success in Mary Kay will be determined by the work that you do or choose not to do on yourself internally. So I want to talk to you about some of these fundamental transformations that I promise you will help you over the next month and a half, a little over a month and a half, as you head into the seminar, in the end of the seminar, or it will help you with any goal that you have, regardless of the time of the year, regardless of the deadline, regardless of whatever the end result is. This is how you will enjoy the journey and achieve more in the process, in that order. It's important that we go in that order, because most people are on this conditional road of success, meaning when I get my goals, then I'll be happy. That is a lose-lose situation. As long as your success is, or your happiness rather, is conditional on your success, you probably won't be successful, because your unconscious mind knows that's not the way life is supposed to be lived. So you will create more challenges internally because you're following the wrong game plan. And if you do collect the success just going after the tangible rewards, then that's a lose also. That's a loss, because you won't be fulfilled. It's about being fulfilled. It's about becoming the person you were created to be. And then, oh, by the way, let's go collect some success. Now, so the first piece here, and this isn't necessarily all 10 of these are not necessarily in order, but the first one is, the very first thing you've got to do is accept where you are right now. You cannot change anything that hasn't been accepted first. So if you're not willing to embrace where you are right now, you can't go further. So many people are stuck in this, I shouldn't be here. I'm smarter than this. I should have learned this. I should have started earlier. Dang it. I should have gone forward on my goals in July when I made them, instead of waiting until the first week of May to actually start going for it, right? None of that helps you right now. Even if it's true, it doesn't help you right now. The only thing that will help you right now is accept the reality of where you are. Hiding from the reality will not give you any power to change it. So accept where you are right now. If there's a little bit of disappointment in there because you haven't put forth the effort, then use that as fuel. Don't use that as shame, which is the way most people are holding on to their current circumstances. They're holding on to it with shame and blame or justifying where they could have been or where they should have been if certain things wouldn't have happened or if people would have just followed through with what they. None of that helps you. Accept where you are right now. Take a big old deep breath. Here's what I want all of us to do right now. I want us to collectively take a big deep breath, a big old inhale right now, and hold it for a minute. And when you exhale, I want you to exhale with total acceptance of who you are and where you are right now. Go ahead and exhale. And just let yourself land in the present reality. That's where you are right now. And if you're not totally satisfied, then let's go. Let's take steps. Let's start running. But until you can accept where you are, you can't be on the ground to start running. So accept and move on. That's the only way you can change your circumstances, if you accept them first. The second thing is, I want you to really honestly take a look at the July 2012 goals that you set for yourself. Any of you that have been in the business since then, those of you that are brand new, you can just walk back to whenever you set your goals. But I want you to take these goals that you set in the past, especially those of you that have been in over a year, and you went to seminar and you set a goal back in July 2012. For most of you, and this is controversial and it sucks to even to take this in. It's a very bitter pill to swallow for a lot of people. But here's the reality. For some of you, maybe even most of you, you just have to let that goal go. Just let it go. It was created in a state of you being emotionally drunk. You were fired up for what you wanted to do in the 50th anniversary of the company. You were in this place called seminar or at your nationals retreat or just with other friends or whatever, and you didn't have a lot of fear then, and you just put your flag on something that is doable and was doable, but the reality is you haven't done it yet. You haven't done what it would have taken to get that goal. And if that's the case, as much as that might not taste good going down, you've got to swallow that pill. If it's unrealistic from right now, there's nothing you can do that's going to change the upset. If it's an unrealistic goal and you hold on to it, the end of June is going to be painful for you because you're going to be disappointed that you didn't get this unrealistic goal. So I'd rather you at the end of June actually finish the year with some excitement going forward. I don't want you to finish the year with disappointment. And so for some of you, probably most of you, the first thing to do to release that disappointment at the end of this year, which will be really imperative for you to go forward, moving on, is you've got to drop the unrealistic goal that you set once upon a time in the past. Just let it go. And I know that is so controversial because what we're usually taught is you can't quit. You got to stay focused. You got to put your head down and don't give up on your goals. Yeah, well, that's all great unless you have a goal that you can't achieve anymore because you just don't have the capacity. You don't have the days left in the year. And I don't want you to sacrifice your sleep and your family in order to go after it anyway because it's just not that important. Most of the tangible goals that we set in life are mostly ego goals. They're not going to do anything to really truly change our lives. They're just going to stroke our ego a little bit. So I don't want you to create disappointment on an ego goal that's not life changing. I want you to create success. I want you to create fulfillment. I want you to enjoy the journey over these last 7 weeks towards the end of the year. Because if you can enjoy this journey, you'll get excited to sign up again July 1st when a new year begins. But if you can't enjoy the journey from here till the end of the year, then when the new year comes, you're going to start it with disappointment. You're going to start it with negative energy. Don't do that. That's not going to help you. So I'd rather you let go of the unrealistic goal, have a TDF goal. From this day forward, what's your 7-week goal? That's what I want you to have. I want you to have a 7-week goal from this point forward. Now, if any of you are in the position that you have a realistic 7-week goal and that can get you to the goal that you originally set out, that's awesome. I'm not saying that everybody needs to put down that goal, only the people who it's unrealistic for. But if that is what your goal is and you've been on track, or you can kick it into a higher gear and go for it, and it lights you up and it helps you, take action, then go for it. I am never somebody that's going to tell anybody to stop doing what's working. I want you to be excited about your goals. So if that same goal excites you and you can take the initiative and you can really do the activities for the end of the year, awesome, then go for it. But what I know to be true is that most people have to put down their unrealistic goal first before they can re-engage in the rest of the year. So have a this day forward goal. Number 3, you must be willing to quit. You must be willing to quit. I think the willingness to quit is more important for success than most other things. Because what most people are doing is they're following a game plan that doesn't lead to success. But they don't want to quit because we have this fear around being called a quitter or feeling like a quitter. But you must be able and willing to quit anything and everything that's not working. If your strategy right now is not working and you're not willing to quit it because of your ego or because somebody told you that this is the way success is supposed to happen, because that's the way they succeeded, if you're not willing to quit something that's not working for you because somebody else told you this is the game plan, then you are dishonoring yourself. You must be willing to honor what works for you. And I would stand up in front of a room full of leaders on any level, in any industry, anywhere on the planet, and say, shame on you as a leader if you're not flexible. But I would also turn around and say to everybody else, shame on you if you don't welcome the flexibility in your life. Ultimately, it's your responsibility. It's not your leaders or the company's responsibility to make sure that you do what works for you. That's your responsibility. You've got to take a real honest look at what works for you. And if anything is not working for you, then please quit doing that. Please. I don't understand why we have to bring in theory or anything else in this discussion. If it's not working for you, why would anybody who's serious about success keep doing that? But I've found so many people that just simply aren't willing to quit. And ultimately, they lose the bigger journey. They lose the bigger war because they're not willing to quit something that's not working. All successful people who've done anything significant, especially in business, they are not attached to the details. They are willing to quit anything that's not working quickly so that they can find something that's going to work better. If you don't have that mentality, then you cannot succeed in business. You just can't. So become a quitter. And obviously, the flip side of that is keep doing anything that is working for you, right? Number 4, embrace everything on this journey. Not only where you are right now, but embrace what this journey has to offer and what it has to teach you. You've got to embrace the quote-unquote failure. You've got to embrace the quote-unquote rejection. I put them in quotes because there's no such thing. Those are just ego judgments on our part that we got rejected or that we failed. That's just a judgment. There's no such thing. But it is reality for a lot of people that people are going to say no to you. That doesn't mean they've rejected you or that you're a failure, but they will say no to you. You've got to embrace that fact. There's no business out there where a lot of people are not going to say no to it. There's just no such thing. You've got to embrace other people's actions, that a lot of people will tell you they're going to show up and then they won't. A lot of people will tell you they're going to sign up and then they won't. A lot of people will tell you that they're serious and they're not. A lot of people will sign up and then quit. That's just the journey. These are called the rules. Those are the rules of the game. There's not anybody who's succeeded in Mary Kay that hasn't dealt with every single one of those things. But what I find is that there's so many people who want the success without dealing with the necessary steps along the way. That can't work. You cannot change the rules of the game. The only decision you have to make is how are you going to handle and manage the rules of the game? That's the rules. When you're dealing with humans, that's the rules. Humans lie. Humans will not follow through with some of the things that they say they're going to do. I'm not saying all humans do that, but if you're dealing with humans in general, some of them will lie. And they're not lying to your face. A lot of them, most of the time, are lying to themselves. You just happen to get in the way. Some of them will show up, and a year later, they'll change their mind. That's just human nature. Quit trying to change human nature in a human business. That is ridiculous. So don't try to change the rules of the game. Play by the rules of the game. You got to embrace the rules of the game. It's just the way it is. Embrace everything on this journey. The fifth one here. And this is a choice. This is simply a decision. I'm going to invite you to decide three things. First of all, you're going to pre-decide that you will be successful. And as simple as that sounds, most people have not decided that they will succeed. Most people are wishing for success, but they have not decided at all costs that they will stay in this game until they succeed. They have not decided that they cannot be denied. Success is a choice. It's not a circumstance that is handed to you. It is a choice. And you can pre-decide that no matter what, you will be successful in life in general, and in Mary Kay specifically. But most people have not made a committed decision. They think they have, but they haven't. If you let little obstacles show up in your life and knock you off tracks, then you haven't decided to be successful. You're just wishing for your lottery ticket to show up with the winning numbers without you having to do any work. And I don't care what industry you're in, that'll never happen. Except actually in the lottery, right? But if you're a lottery player, if you have the lottery mentality, if you're a toe dipper, if you want effortless success where you actually don't have to put in work, if you want actionless success, that's more like it. Because success can feel effortless when we're really on purpose and it feels like it's not hard work. But if you want actionless success, go play the lottery. And please quit Mary Kay. Please quit all things that require action in your life. And you know what? I'm just dead serious about that. You've got to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, have you pre-decided and pre-committed to your success? Because if you have, you won't tolerate anything less. If you're tolerating anything less than success, then you have not pre-decided and you haven't committed to it. So you need to pre-decide to be successful. You also need to pre-decide to become the leader worth following. You do the work first as a leader. Don't wait around for other people to do the work so that you can, be risen up on top of their shoulders. That's not leadership. You've got to become the person that people want to follow first. Then you'll find people willing to follow you. And then your results will show up, and it's in that order. And finally, for crying out loud, have fun. What's the point if you chase success and you don't have fun along the way? And in Mary Kay, if you're not committed to having fun, nobody's going to want to play with you. They don't want to follow you if you're not having fun. They don't want to follow somebody who's stressed out all the time, who can't answer the phone because they're too darn busy, who's always complaining about all these things they have to do. They don't want to follow somebody who's faking fun. And people can smell whether your fun is genuine or not. And you don't have to be successful to have real fun. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, where you are in your business, you can have fun. So just genuinely become the essence of fun and the essence of joy. And that's just a decision. Fun is not conditional. You don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to be anywhere in life, in your business, to have fun. Success is just a choice. Choose it. Number 6, on these fundamental transformations. This is a little bit in the how-to, but it's focused only on the activities that you can control, not focusing on the scoreboard or any of the tangible results. If you've been around me more than about 5 minutes, you've probably heard me talk about this. This is one of the biggest issues with goal getting that there is. So specifically, I want you to come up with a game plan that you have from now till the end of June, or now until the end of whenever your deadline is that you want to accomplish a goal by, and you've got to work backwards, create the activities that it will take to achieve those results, then throw the results away and focus on the activities. If you do that, you will be much further along than if you keep staring at the scoreboard and you keep staring at how far away you are from this tangible goal with the deadline. That won't help 99% of you. Now, if you are the person that can just focus on the scoreboard and results, and you can honestly, transparently go succeed and it's fulfilling, then you are a rare bird and don't change. But you must understand this concept because almost nobody else can operate that way. We have to focus on what we can control. It's one of the subconscious fundamental pillars that determine whether or not we will commit to something. It's one of the 8 components of commitment. It's something that we control. And in Mary Kay, you don't control your results. You don't control whether somebody shows up or not, but you control your activities. So focus on the things that you can control. And then at the end of this time period, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Number 7, identify what goals you actually want and put those in your affirmations. Put those on your goal posters. What is it that you actually want? And the best way to do this is with another person. If you do it just with yourself, you probably won't go as deep and get as clear as you could with somebody else. But the best way to do it is for one person to just ask the other person what they want and become a 3-year-old and keep asking why. Why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? Very quickly, you will move from the tangible goals that you think you want to the intangible drivers that will get you out of bed in the morning and the things that you're willing to take action on, the stuff you're willing to fight for. Most people don't have clarity on that because they just stay focused on the above surface tangible goals that they said they want or that somebody else said they're supposed to want. If this doesn't come from deep inside your gut, if this doesn't tap into your drivers at a core level, you won't have the energy, you won't have the determination, you won't have the discipline to overcome all the rules of the game. If this is just a surface level goal, all those rules of the game, the stuff that people do when you're in a people business, the stuff that your mind is going to say as you're on the journey to growth, the internal challenges, your border patrol taking shots at you all the time, all of that stuff will overcome and outweigh any of your conscious, ego-driven head goals. So you've got to go deep. You've got to tap in to that reservoir of energy and desire that you have. And your little girls and your little boys' goals are in there. Your little child dreams are in there. There's a moment that you decided to change your life. There's a moment that you decided enough is enough. There's a moment that you decided you want more. There's a moment that you decided to join Mary Kay. You've got to stay connected to that moment more than the circumstances of your life. And that's only found by going deep within you. You've got to do some digging. If you're not willing to do some digging, then you won't find the very resources that you have inside that has all the strength and courage and commitment to overcome all your obstacles. The 8th thing here is you've got to remove your fears by challenging them. And when you challenge your fears, you remove the risk. None of us are afraid of certain activities. We're afraid of the outcome of those activities. So, for instance, nobody's afraid of flying. People are afraid of dying in a plane crash. Nobody's afraid of heights. People are afraid of falling from high places. Nobody's afraid of talking to people. You're afraid of what they're going to say. Nobody's afraid of talking to people on the phone. You're afraid of the rejection. Nobody's afraid of talking to people that you don't know. You're afraid of how you're going to feel when you walk away if they say no. So you're afraid of the result of the activity. You're not afraid of the activity. That's another reason for you to not focus on the results, because that's where all your fears are. Focus on your activities and challenge those fears. I've got 3 questions for you that are really powerful in changing your fears. If you hear a fear internally come up, I want you to say 3 things. Number 1, how likely is this really to happen? So if you have somebody that you want to talk to about the business and you think, well, what if she says no? First of all, ask, how likely is it that she's going to say no? Or he? And if the answer is, yeah, it's pretty likely, then you can go on to the second question. If the answer is it's not really likely at all, then there's no reason for you to be afraid of something that probably won't happen. So your fear will usually dissolve just on that question. The second question is, if it does happen, how bad is it really going to be? And you can hear the tone in my voice is like challenging, like a teenager. Seriously, how bad is it really going to be? Most of the things we're afraid of is not that bad anyway. So if somebody says no to you, so what? How bad is that really going to be? Are you going to stop breathing? Is God going to pluck one of your family members or one of your close friends out of your life? No. Is this person going to punch you in the face and break your nose? No. They're going to make a sound with their mouth. Seriously. They're going to make a sound with their mouth. How bad is that really? And let's say that it is going to be bad. The third question is, how temporary is it? Most of the things that we're afraid of aren't going to happen, or if they do happen, they're not going to be that bad, or if they do happen and they are bad, they're not going to be long lasting anyway. That'll take care of probably 99% of your fears ever. And if there is something that might happen, might be bad, and will be permanent, then you deal with that. But there's nothing like that in Mary Kay. There's nothing like that that's really stopping you internally from creating the life you want and building the business that you want. It's not real life safety, physical safety fears. It's all the internal game. Those 3 questions will knock out most of your fears. Number 9, decide that wherever you end up on June 30th is perfect. Just be willing to get into motion, do the activities, and pre-accept the results. If you pre-accept the results, you have nothing to be afraid of. The reason that a lot of people are afraid of committing to their goals is because they might not get there. And if they don't get there, they're going to beat themselves up, or they think they're going to be embarrassed and everybody's going to ask them, why didn't you get your goals? If you pre-accept wherever you end up, put it into somebody else's hands, put it into God's hands, put it into everybody else's hands other than yours. If you just pre-accept wherever you're going to end up, as long as you do everything that you possibly can, you're going to be fine. And there are lessons for you to learn all along the way. Don't ever avoid the lessons that you have to learn. And a lot of times, quote unquote, failure brings the best lessons to us. So pre-decide wherever you end up is going to be great, and catch the message, catch the lessons, and sign up again on July 1st. Finally, number 10. There are 3 most important recruiting concepts that will absolutely change the game in your business. And the first one is, and I alluded to this early, I jumped on one of my soapboxes early. You've got to come from service. Anytime that you're thinking about getting somebody's name and number, you're not coming from service. Unless you're really truly focused on how can I follow up with them and help them possibly change their life. Anytime you're thinking on winning a contest, you're not coming from service. Anytime you're thinking about achieving, your production, you're not coming from service. Anytime you're focused on not failing, you're not coming from service. When you focus on the things that you stand to gain, then you will inherently also focus on the things that you stand to lose. And when you focus on gain and loss, you're going to light up all the fears that you have. But service does not have an evil twin. Service does not have anything for you to be afraid of. Nobody's afraid of serving others, regardless of whether they use their service or not. Nobody's afraid of serving others. So the more that you truly come from service, the more you'll get out of your way. Now, most people know that concept, and most people can regurgitate this idea that you're supposed to help others, but internally, they really aren't. So I want you to challenge and take inventory with your own reality inside. Are you actually coming from service, or is there still a little piece of you that wants to get that goal? Is your ego getting involved saying, I want to you know impress somebody, I want to get that goal, I want to walk across the stage? There's nothing wrong with wanting those things. This is not an either or conversation. It's, what do you want more? And if you show up to serve more and you also want some of those other things, that's the magic combination. But that's not honestly where most people are coming from. Most people are saying they want to serve, but internally they want to gain. They want money. They want to stop living in restriction. This has got to be real. So come from service. The second thing is you are not responsible for anybody else's actions other than yourself. One of the biggest reasons that people resist recruiting is because they'll recruit people, those people will quit, and then you'll feel bad as though it's your fault that they quit. As though if you would have done something better, different, if you would have been a better leader, then you could have kept them in the business. You must detach yourself from the responsibility for other people. Because now that doesn't mean you don't care for other people. That doesn't mean you're not responsible to other people. You are. You can plant the seeds, you can invite them to the party, but if they decide to not show up, that's not on you. That's not fair for yourself to judge you according to other people's life circumstances. It's not fair for you. And here's the thing, the more that you relieve yourself of the responsibility for other people, the better leader you're going to be. So you actually become better this way. This is not, I'm not saying you turn around and you don't care for other people, and you turn around and you don't, hold your meetings, and you don't answer phone calls, and you don't do trainings. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't own their choices as your responsibility. As soon as you really, truly disconnect from your responsibility, you'll have no fears around recruiting people. This is the biggest internal and hidden fear that people have in the recruiting game. Most people don't know that's their fear, but it is. Most people have more pain on somebody joining and quitting than they do somebody saying no. So you'll always unconsciously try to avoid the greatest source of perceived pain. If the greatest source of perceived pain is people joining and quitting, you're going to unconsciously try to avoid having anybody join your team. That's where sabotage comes from. Think about that statement that I just made. You are going to unconsciously avoid people joining your team. You can't succeed that way. It's impossible. So you've got to disconnect yourself from the responsibility of other people. And finally, the third most important recruiting concept, I already said it, have fun. Please, have fun. Have fun. Your fun and joy in this business is more important than anything you ever say. It's more important than any question you can answer. It's more important than any knowledge you've ever collected. It's more important than any goal that you've ever achieved or not achieved. It's the single most important and most attractive magnet out there is joy and fun and passion. If you live that way, people will want to do whatever it is that you're doing. A lot of times they won't even care what it is. They want to follow fun. So have fun. Hopefully, somewhere in these 10 fundamental transformations, you've gotten a nugget that you can hold on to. You've gotten something that will help you in this journey. And I want to finish with this concept of the pendulum. If you imagine there's this big giant pendulum right in front of you, and think of, on the left side, this pendulum has all the failure things that most people want to avoid, the fears, the risk, the doubt. On the right side is the success that everybody wants, the happiness, the comfort, the freedom, the excuse me, the tangible success, the cars, the money, the titles. That's what everybody wants over there to the right. Everybody wants to try to get there, though, with avoiding everything to the left. That's just not possible. It's not possible. And the reality is, when you swing the pendulum one way, it will usually go about the equal distance the other way. However, here's the key with personal development. Here's the key with entrepreneurialism or entrepreneur opportunities. You can't swing the pendulum to the right. You can only swing it to the left. You can only chase your fears. You can only move in the direction of all the perceived risk. You can only move in the direction of your doubts. So everything that you want in life is found by chasing and going through everything that your head is saying avoid. Everything that your conscious mind and your fears are trying to avoid, the only way to be successful is to chase those things. Search for people telling you no. Search for people joining and quitting. Search for rejection. When you search for rejection, if you push the pendulum toward rejection to the left, it will swing to the right and you will accidentally, as a byproduct, get successful. But most people are not willing to push the pendulum. You've got to be willing to push the pendulum in the direction of your biggest fears, collect the rejection, collect the failure, and that's the only way to succeed as a byproduct. So push the pendulum. Now, the most important concept I can leave you with tonight, or whenever you're watching this, is just go. Go. Don't sit around getting ready. Go. Take action. You can sit around and learn how to ride a bike as much as you want, but unless you start pedaling, you will never learn how to keep your balance. But how many people are sitting on a stationary bike with no training wheels, not pedaling, and trying to stay balanced? Your bike will always fall down unless you pedal. And when you pedal, all of you that have ever ridden a bike, you'll attest to this, it's easy to stay up if you pedal. So if you're not pedaling, you can't succeed. It's like pottery. If your wheel is not spinning, you can't make a very good vase or whatever the object is unless it's spinning. But when it's spinning, you can just stick your finger out and create this beautiful, smooth edge and transformation of this piece of clay. But if it's not spinning and you're just sitting there try to create a vase, a beautiful smooth vase just with your hands without spinning the wheel. Good luck. That's not going to happen very well. If it does happen, it'll take you 20 times longer than it would have if you'd have just spun the wheel. Get in action. That's the single most important piece of success. Get in action. Just jump in. I love this little guy. Man, I don't know. I don't know if the water's warm or if it's cold, but I know I'm about to find out. Go. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know I'm about to find out. Go. I don't know if that lady's going to join my business or not, but I'm about to find out. Go. I don't know if I'm going to get my goals or not at the end of the year, but I'm about to find out. Go. Just go. Jump in. Don't waste your time dealing with the stuff. It's just not that important. And I will tell you this, that this journey is not going to be easy. Anybody who sells you easy is deceitful. Shame on them if they're going to tell you that the road to personal development or the road to success is easy. If somebody ever tells you that it's easy, I want you to turn around and run because they're lying. But I will tell you that if you're willing to get in the game and you're willing to do what it takes, that this will be worth it. It will be worth it. Let me just share with you just a couple stories. Antonella from New York said as soon as she got rid of her perfectionism, her income tripled immediately. Tripled by getting rid of her perfectionism. Sometimes the internal changes that we make have incredibly fast results as long as we're focused on the internal stuff. Many of you know Jim. I think he might be on the line now. He said, you know what? We just needed to fix this, the 7 inches between my ears. And then he came home and he went to work. His team grew incredibly right away. Many of you know last year he was the king of sales. Got back into his Cadillac, and it was the internal shift. Jim didn't catch any skills that he didn't have. He just made an internal shift and got in motion with all the skills that he already had and made it happen. Love Jim. Love his story. Judy out in Illinois, she said her personal team went from 17 to 73. Her production basically tripled. But here's what I want you to really get. One of the most important concepts that changed my life is the same mind that created the problem cannot solve the problem. The same mind that created the problem cannot solve the problem. So here's the way I see it. I see you have two choices. You got two paths you can choose. You can try to reinvent the wheel from scratch, and or you can continue doing what you've been doing and just hoping for different results, or you can change the game. You can change the recipe. You can shift your internal reality. You can shorten your learning curve. You can eliminate many, if not all, of the most costly and painful mistakes, and you can speed up the journey towards success. I highly encourage you to choose wisely. Now, hopefully this has been valuable. For those of you that want more, I'm going to share a couple programs that I have for you if you want to continue to further your learning curve. These are much deeper dive training programs. The first one is actually the name of this call. It's called Finish Strong. It's mostly for consultants and red jackets. In a moment, I'm going to walk you through each of the programs, and I'm going to tell you what they each look like. Or if you're a director, you're in DIQ, or you just really want to play that leadership game, I have another program called Effortless Leadership. And let me tell you just real briefly from a high level about these two programs. Finish Strong is a collection of 6 audio recordings. They're immediately available. As soon as you say yes, you're going to get the recordings directly available to you so you can start learning tonight. You can jump on. Those of you that are lit up right now, you're in this emotional place, you can continue learning right now, tonight. Just jump in and get into the first call. They're focused mainly on your personal business. It's the goal getting, time management stuff, mostly the personal things. Effortless Leadership is a much bigger program. It's 15 audio recordings, also immediately available. And we focus on the Finish Strong stuff, the same personal business, but it's also more advanced leadership concepts and persuasion concepts. So it's Finish Strong plus Effortless Leadership. We go through a lot of the things that we talk about in your personal business, but we handle them from 2 different perspectives. You personally, but also how do you teach these concepts from a leader's perspective, right? So we go a little bit deeper dive into all of the concepts. So there's really sort of 3 pieces to Effortless Leadership. Whereas Finish Strong, there's one main piece. How do I get out of my way and build a personal business? In Effortless Leadership, it's how do I get out of my way and build my personal business? How do I teach other people how to get out of their way and build their personal business? And how do I become a better leader? And how do I become more influential and more persuasive? So if you want more information on the programs, here's the website, pinkcaddycoach.com/go. pinkcaddycoach.com/go. And actually, what I want to do right now is I want to take you, hang on a second, I want to take you onto my desktop to show you this program. Okay, this is the page. This is Pink Caddy Coach /go. It's about reassessing, refocusing, recommitting so that you can finish strong. It's really about a lot of things that I already talked about tonight and living them. So there are handouts, there are exercises for you to go deeper into. I mentioned there's one option, which is Finish Strong for consultants and red jackets. You're going to get these 6 ready to listen to immediately recordings. Each one of them is anywhere between an hour and 2.5 hours. A lot of material. You can listen to them whenever you want. There's an online archives page with all the links that you can download to your computer, listen to them on your phone or your MP3 player later if you want. You've got handouts for each call so you can follow along. You can go at your own pace. You can retain the information beyond just the recording. You can do the exercises. You're going to have access to a secret Facebook community page so that you can stay plugged in with other people who've gone through that training as well, which is super important. And you're also going to have bonus access to a couple of my audio coaching programs, which are called Erase the Waste, How to Get Rid of Your Limiting Beliefs, and Anchor Your Success. Those 2 programs themselves are more, double the price of the investment of this program. So it's about starting or restarting your engines, mastering self-motivation, massive momentum. Actually, you know what? It's probably hard for you to see this right now. Let me see if I can remember. I'm going to take a shot right here. See if I can remember how to zoom in. Ah, there you go. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom all the way in so that you can see easier. But it's self-motivation. It's creating momentum. It's getting rid of your blocks, your conflicts. It's creating supportive environments. It's getting rid of perfectionism or procrastination. It's increasing your activity management. We talk about recipes for success and recovery. Then we talk a lot about sales and recruiting, creating a win-win environment, how to create instantaneous and unconscious rapport. We go into sales psychology. I'm just skimming over these things. I'm not reading you line for line. Then we really talk about goal getting. I want to teach you some daily routines to keep you inspired, focused, and in motion. We're going to create a customized action plan for you to get results. We're going to talk about what you should and shouldn't have on your goal posters, in your affirmations. We're going to talk about how you can help your team members build their vision, create their wins, and ultimately stay motivated. So Finish Strong is really about your personal business. It's about the personal gang. It's perfect for you if that's what you're focused on more right now. A question some people have is, can I do Finish Strong if I'm a director? Sure. If that's really all you want is to focus on the personal business, and absolutely, it can be valuable for you as a director as well. But for those of you that are in a leadership position already, or you're close to it, option 2 might be better for you. And option 2 is effortless leadership. It was designed for directors and DIQs. If you're a consultant, you're getting close to going into DIQ, and you just know that this is information that you want, you can go ahead and grab that too. I would really strongly urge you, though, because there's so much information, to pace yourself and just do the things that you need to really focus on. This program is big. It's 15 lessons, 15 audio programs, again, between an hour and a half, 2.5 hours long. I think call number 15 is worth all of the investment just by itself. You've got everything that you have before with Finish Strong. You've got an archives page. You've got handouts. You've got a Facebook community. You've got bonus to the Erase the Waste and Anchor Your Success trainings. We also go deeper, as you can see, into influence, persuasion, and leadership mastery. We talk a lot about coaching and mentoring. We talk about how to be authentic, magnetic, effective, how to become a true elite leader worth following. We talk about influence. I teach you about persuasion, how to create and increase attendance, buy-in, and loyalty at your meetings. That's something that a lot of directors struggle with. We talk about the difference between recognition and appreciation, when to use each one most effectively. We talk about motivating other people, this concept of brave heart leadership. We talk about how to create independence and commitment in other people. How do you increase the numbers of consultants who succeed in your business? We also go into learning theory, the 4 stages of learning, the 5-finger framework for emotional control. You can use all of these things to help other people, yourself, and be a better coach. We talk about the 6 layers of human emotions. We talk about the art of coaching as well as the skills of coaching. So it's a much deeper training, and it's really about 3 times the scope and 3 times the the breadth of the Finish Strong program. So as I said, it's perfect for you if you want more than just the Finish Strong, if you really want to get into the leadership stuff. Can you get it if you're not a director? Yeah, it's primarily for directors, but if you know you're going to move into directorship and you just want more of the advanced leadership training, especially while it's at a really reduced price, then you can go ahead and grab it. So with either investment, you're going to get 2 bonuses. You're going to get 2 free months of the Eagles Club membership. If you're already in the Eagles Club, we'll just extend your membership for a couple months. If you're not in the Eagles Club, you can try it out for 2 months. If you don't like it, you can quit at any time. I do 3 teleseminars every month. You get access to all of them. You get access to the recordings. You're also going to get a private one-on-one coaching consultation with one of our coaches. And that can be really valuable for you to identify personally what's the stuff that you really need to focus on, not just at a conceptual level, but you personally, what is it that you want to focus on? You get a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. If you don't think that we've fulfilled on our promise inside the first 30 days, if you're not satisfied, let us know. We'll refund your money. We get very, very few refunds because the content is deep and it's personal, and people appreciate it. So if this sounds like you, if you want to go further, if you want to go deeper, if you're really serious about creating this change, then just pick the program that's best for you. Finish Strong is a $97 value. That's what I think people paid, either $97 or $150 to get on live. We've got a 48-hour special right now for just $47. Click that link. You've got to make sure that you put the coupon code MK in there and click apply. If you want to go for the bigger one, the Effortless Leadership, it's only $97. Same thing, click MK or put MK in the coupon code and click apply, and then you'll see the $50 taken out of your shopping cart. If for whatever reason it doesn't do that, then then just let us know. Lisa says, if we did Effortless Leadership last year, is this info available again? So Lisa, this is the information from last year. So if you already did Effortless Leadership last year, you have access to the archives. This isn't for you. But if you want something more, then just call our office and we can chat about. What you should probably do is just do a consultation. Call our office and we will talk about you personally and how we can help you out personally. But I wouldn't want you to invest the $97 and just get the same program that you already have access to, right? All right. So let me just finish up this webinar here. That's the website, pinkcattycoach.com/go. So here's the significant question. The significant question is not what is the cost of taking action in time, energy, or money. The most important question is what is the cost of not taking action? That's a big boy, big girl question. What is it costing you to not get through these challenges? What's it costing you to not move past your fears? What's it costing you to not get rid of your limiting beliefs? And it's not just about business. It's not just about money. What's it costing you in your relationships? What's it costing you in your self-esteem? What's it costing you in your confidence? That's the real game here that you can play. And that's the real game that you have to win. So I want you to focus on what is it costing you not to take action in your life. And specifically with this program, if it's worth the small investment to clear yourself of those issues, then jump in. If it's not worth it, then don't jump in. But that's the way that you can really decide whether any investment situation is appropriate for you or not, right? So finally, before we go to a Q&A here, in order to get your free recording of the audio recording of this, send me an email to Sean@pinkcattycoach.com. Put in the subject line, recording, please, and I'll send you over a link to get the recording when it's ready. It's going to take a little bit of time to get ready, but when it's ready, I will send you over a link. So Now I want to open it up to any questions that you have. Um, if you have a question, go ahead and type it in, and I'll do my best to answer your question. Marion says, thanks. It's just what I needed. You've answered everything I needed to hear. I have to get rid of my perfectionism, my fears, and get this butt out of my way. Absolutely, Marion. And if you haven't already done one of those programs, then I think it will definitely, I know it'll definitely help you. We have somebody that says, as I listen to all the success stories, I sometimes feel individuals forget of the initial fears. I have found it is really a game of numbers. Many individuals have been within DIQ in a week. For those who do not have a large circle of influence, it becomes an issue. I absolutely agree with you. And that's one of the reasons why it's important for you to focus on what you need, take responsibility and not just listen to somebody else's story that, okay, you're supposed to get into DIQ inside of a week or become a director inside of 3 months. And I absolutely agree with you that there are plenty of obstacles that show up and fears. And sometimes, the people who've succeeded didn't come up against those fears. And it is important for you to get those fears addressed. So, hopefully you're willing to play that game. I know both of these programs would help you if that's calling out to you. I really invite you to play that. We'd love to have you in the program. If it's not calling to you, then do something else. But that's the work that needs to be done, right? How do you kickstart without feeling guilty about everything else? Tired of explaining everything when people, family, just either don't care or aren't listening. I have to stop letting others get in my way and succeed. Yeah, guilt is an internal game. There's so much to guilt, and one of the reasons that guilt is created is when you're out for personal gain. So when you really focus on the service and how can you help other people, some of that guilt will go away on its own. Some of the guilt will go away when you have a conversation and just communicate with the people in your family and let them know what you're about to do. Let them co-create the goals that you have. A lot of times, just that clear communication is one of the ways to get rid of guilt. Guilt ultimately is a conflict between your belief that you're supposed to do something and your actions. So if you believe that as a mom you're supposed to stay home with your kids all the time, then building a business will always create guilt. So you've got to reframe that belief, right? So guilt, the way to get rid of guilt completely is to identify what the limiting beliefs are and get rid of those limiting beliefs. And that is a challenge, no doubt. But it is a challenge that absolutely can be overcome, and you can absolutely do it. You've got to play the internal game. Guilt will never be taken care of just by some conscious head solution, right? Ashley says gain and loss are tied to fear versus service is profound. Thank you. Yeah, that was huge, Ashley. It's one of the most important ones. Um, Jacqueline says great call. Let's see. Will this be on a CD later for Eagles Club members? No, we're not planning on putting this particular call on a CD for Eagles Club members, but the audio and video will be available, and you can actually put it on a CD yourself when you get that audio. But not, we're not going to put it. We're not going to send it to Eagles Club members. Somebody says, what ways will this program help me create action? Well, Finish Strong, Shaquista, hopefully I'm saying your name right. That's the program that I think would be best for you because that's really focused on your personal business and what are the ways for you to create action. The way to not create action is by continuing to do things the way you've always been doing them and by trying to motivate yourself with your head. You've got to find your internal drivers. That's in both programs. You've got to get rid of limiting beliefs. That's in both programs. You've got to identify what your values are so that you're motivated to take action. If you're not taking action, it means that you're not plugged into something that's bigger than your fears. So we've got to eliminate those fears. We've got to increase the desire that you have. We've got to get clear on why you're doing this business in the first place. What does it mean in the grand scheme of things? If you don't do those internal things, then you can just consciously try to get yourself into action, and it'll never work. So, I think both these programs for you, I would suggest Finish Strong. It's only $47 right now for the next 48 hours. It'll do everything that you need to do from the internal perspective, inside out approach. Obviously, you need to listen and you need to do the activities. but it's the only way for you to get into action. If you're not currently into action, that means your fears and your doubts are outweighing your dreams. And the only way to get you into action is to reverse that. Next question. Ashley says, every time I consider investing in myself, I find myself hesitating as if one of my limiting beliefs is that I believe to be struggling. I find myself struggling with myself, especially since I've been plugging into you and one of your coaches. How can I push past this boiling point more effectively? Because it's driving me nuts. This is huge. A lot of times people have a limiting belief called I'm not valuable enough to invest in, or as you said, I'm supposed to struggle. A lot of people have determined, pre-decided that they need to struggle, and that that will outweigh rather any of your attempts usually, right? So we absolutely have to clear that up. And if every time you consider investing in yourself, that's the default reaction, that's a problem. Nobody ever becomes successful without the willingness to invest their time, energy, and money. So that is a recipe for failure. And just challenging and overcoming that default knee-jerk reaction every time you think about investing in yourself is a huge win, for you to do that just by itself, just to overcome that default thinking, because you can't succeed that way. So whatever you've been doing, you've got to take more ownership around clearing up those internal blocks that you have. And the other thing that I'll say is whenever we consider investing in ourselves, it should create a little bit of fear. It should create a little bit of anxiety, because that means that we know we're going to grow. If you think about doing something and your fear kicks in and says, no, I don't want to do that because it's going to be scary, that means that you're thinking about moving outside of your comfort zone. That's the only time that fear and doubt show up, is when you're about to go outside of your comfort zone. So if you are experiencing those fears and doubts, then that's a good sign. That's not a bad sign. It's actually a good sign that you're moving in the right direction. So quite honestly, that's usually a sign to keep going. It's not a sign to stop. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Somebody said, can the 97 be split into 2 payments? I don't have that up on the website, but if you need it to be split into 2 payments, then yeah, I will accommodate that. Just send an email to me, Sean at pinkcaddycoach.com, and ask me about that. And I'll have to put a different link up there, or send a link directly to you if that's something you really need to do. Let's see. There's going to be a little interest in there, though, so you're going to end up paying a little bit more. But question. Now I remember why I love you so much. Thanks, Loretta. This is Loretta from Canada. I remember lots of experiences up there. Okay, another question. Carlotta says, being in Mary Kay for over 20 plus years, I get on target for Cadillac. I love to help grow others, but stop before it's obtained. Maybe the passion isn't there, or maybe there's a fear I'm not aware of. Yeah, I would say it's probably one of those two things, or both, and maybe there's a little bit more, Carlotta. But the passion is definitely lost when we keep doing the same thing over and over again and keep going for it, and we just keep collecting disappointment and failure. Usually, especially from at your level, it's usually going to be the responsibility conversation around you not being responsible for other people, and other people joining the business and then quitting being your biggest challenge, right? So if you're stopping, and you've been in the business long enough to know everything there is to know about the business, obviously, then it's probably some hidden fear of success. And I think what we've got to do is clear up that issue first. That's where I would want you to focus on first. Clear up the issue of why you might be avoiding that responsibility, or the negativity that people get in and quit. And if it's not exactly that, there's something that has caused you to lose some of the passion around helping people. So it's about tapping back into that passion. So the values work would be great for you. the drivers, the purpose, all those things would be really good for you specifically so you can do that. Could you put the Sean/Pink? That is all I got. It is for the recording. Thanks. I'm not sure what you're asking for, Marion, so if you can maybe type that in and clarify that. That is all I got. It is for the recording. Oh, probably the email address. The email address is sean@pinkcaddycoach.com. I just sent it to all of you. I think you will have gotten it in the in the chat box. But you know what? I'll put it up here too. So let me do this real quick. We'll say Sean at pinkcaddycoach.com. This is that email address. And while we're here, let's just make it pink. Why not, right? Color pink. All right. There you go. Sean at pinkcaddycoach.com. Thank you for that. Question. Oh, you know what? I just deleted a question from Judy. I think it said it was a question like, is this leadership or something? Sorry about that. And then another one from Judy. This isn't a question, but a book that helped me reach the deep-seated issues that caused me to stand paralyzed in fear and creatively create the obstacles. Taming Your Outer Child by Susan Anderson. Cool. I haven't heard of that. So thanks for sharing that. Teaches you to get in touch with your inner child. Great. Is it possible to show again the email address for sending the request? Okay, cool. There it is. Thank you, Sean. This has really been the encouragement I need. I was really feeling hopeless and overwhelmed and frozen. I'm going to take massive action, going to drive. I'm so glad I came to this webinar. Cool. I am really glad you came too, Diana. Just take action on all these things we were talking about. This is from London. Cool. Afwa from London. I hope I said your name correctly. Is the $97 covering both? I wish to get the two during the day as I have to go to bed soon. First of all, I really appreciate you for showing up in London. And I know it's like the middle of the night out there. The $97 is for effortless leadership. If you get effortless leadership, all of the information in Finish Strong is already covered in effortless leadership. So you're not going to get both programs, but all the Finish Strong content is covered in effortless leadership also. It's just that you get more with that. So you're not going to get access to both programs. You're going to get access to effortless leadership, which will cover all the stuff in the first program also. Let's see. Yep. Probably wants email address. Email address. Got it. Got it. I have it. Is it realistic to change in the next 20 days? Absolutely. It's realistic to change tonight. It absolutely is. And I'm, honestly, I'm concerned about the hopelessness that's in your question. The question is it realistic to change in the next 20 days? What that means is that you're doubting whether it truly is or not. And I'm concerned about that. Because if something is important enough, you can make the change today. Now, some of the tangible success is going to take a while, but the internal changes, you can make those shifts today. I see it happen usually in workshops and coaching all the time, where people just get to the point of enough is enough and they change now immediately. You can do anything that's important enough to you if the consequences are high enough. So absolutely, it's realistic to change in any amount of time. And you get to decide when you're going to change, especially if it's internal stuff that you control. So yes, it was great being back in connection with you. Okay, cool. If I've already had a free consultation, 2 months of the Eagles Club with a coach, do they at checkout apply again? What'll usually happen is it's an individual basis. So if when you check out, we'll just look into the order, and we basically contact people individually to find out about their consultations, and maybe you do a consultation with somebody else or whatever. So we'll get that handled. Ashley, just just let us know in the order form that you want to have that conversation with us, and we'll make sure that we figure it out for you. Valerie says, my takeaways: I can only swing the pendulum to the left. What's the cost of not taking action? Let go of the goal I haven't achieved and focus on TDF. Love that, Valerie. That's great. This day forward. That is so huge. What can you do from this day forward? Awesome. Well, I'll stick around for another, couple minutes if people want to have any questions. Let's see. Vanessa from Massachusetts just jumped into Effortless Leadership. Congratulations, Vanessa. Gina from Nebraska. Nice, Gina. Is taking advantage of Finish Strong. Gina, Charlie. Welcome, all of you. There's more people. I'm not going to go through everybody. I see Shirley from Idaho is in. Anyway, we got a question here. Let's see. I know you said don't hold it against yourself when others don't do what they initially said they would do to work their business as they said they would. What happens when they are always looking to you for business? For encouragement and don't possess that get it up and go for themselves. It's draining, like you're working your business and theirs. How do you get them to have it for themselves? Everybody has that. It's just a matter of you learning the skills as a coach to draw it out of them. I don't believe that there's anybody on this planet that doesn't have inside what they need to achieve their goals. But most of the time, sadly, most people don't have the skills or the awareness to dig down deep for themselves. So that's where your leadership skills come in. What can you do as a leader to help them draw it out of them? But if you get irritated by the idea that they are always looking at you, then you're not really going to be able to show up with the authentic leadership that you need to have in order to truly help them. So you've got to clear any of that negative energy that you have on people asking you for help, and you just got to serve them. But with some coaching skills mixed in, it'll be a lot easier. It's so much easier to ask questions than to give answers. So that's really what you've just got to learn the skills around asking questions. Gina says she's taken advantage of the Finish Strong generous offer. Looking forward to getting out of my own way. I'm looking forward to that too, Gina, and welcome to Finish Strong. You might already have them in your inbox. You will get the recordings right away so that you can start listening. All right, everyone. Hopefully this has been a valuable webinar and content for you. Those of you that sent an email to my email address, I'll send you the audio recording. Let's see. Gina says, I'll use your 3 questions to tackle my fear of approaching people. I never meet a stranger, but for some reason cannot always bring Mary Kay into the conversation. Between the 3 questions and your passion about not sharing the opportunity, shame on me. Yeah, I think that'll really help, Gina. Absolutely. Let me know how that goes too. Shaquista says, once I pay for the program, can I download the audio to my iPhone so I can start changing this mental stuff? Yes. As soon as you get in, you'll have immediate access to all the recordings. You can download them right away. And if for whatever reason it's not working, you might have some challenges accessing the website on your iPhone. Just depends on what you've got your iPhone configured to. But if you're on a computer, you can definitely download it to the computer and then you can transfer it to your iPhone. But you can certainly grab them and listen immediately and portably when you're out and about, right? On your phone or MP3 player or whatever. All right. Oh, cool. Nice. Just got a note from Jim. Said amazing training. Because of your help, China is a reality. Nice, buddy. Go for it. Absolutely. Go for it. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that with me. Loretta says, do you still do one-on-one coaching calls, or are they all done through your associates? Most of the coaching in the Mary Kay world is done with other coaches, with some rare exceptions. But go ahead and ask. There's questions that we'll ask you, and we can make case-by-case exceptions based on people's circumstances. So you can ask those questions when you get your free consultation. All right, everybody. I hope this has been valuable. I really appreciate and honor those of you that are still on. Most of you are still on. That's pretty cool. So jump in if you're ready to go. Take action. Start pedaling. And if for whatever reason this isn't for you, or maybe you already got Finish Strong or Effortless Leadership in the past, then I would just advise you to go back and go through it again, right? So, question: is there an appointment of when we talk to you? All the recordings are available, so I won't be doing any of the calls. They're all recorded and available for you. And the instructions are on that archives page for how to get your consultation, and then we'll hook you up with a time to talk to somebody. Charlie says you're going to be at seminar. Nope, I am not going to be at seminar this year. I've got a couple trips planned. I'll be in Greece in a few weeks teaching. Then Sybil and I are celebrating our 15th anniversary in Hawaii with the whole family. So we're doing those trips. And then I am resting. So anyway, let's see. Daryl, thanks. Great call. Almost like being with you in person. Not quite. The 5 days in person. We can't replace that. Going on the beach, finding our passions, doing the dream work. But I appreciate you, Daryl. And maybe it's just, as close as possible. Cool. Diana says, I'm going for it now. Awesome. Can't wait to hear more about that. Thanks for the well wishes. Plenty of you are saying congratulations on the anniversary, and thank you for all of that. Deb says, I'm going for it too. Sweet. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate and honor all of you for your dedication to yourself, to your business. Hopefully, I can be of service to you in your journey, and whatever we can do moving forward, please help. Looking forward to having you in one of these programs if they're speaking to you. If not, then just do this work. If it's with somebody else, then do it with somebody else. If it's with me, awesome. I feel honored and can't wait to hear from you in the forums. I do engage in the Facebook communities from time to time. So those of you, that is a way to have access to me in the Finish Strong and in the Effortless Leadership Facebook groups. So that's a way for us to continue the conversation. Charlie says your message to your dad touched my soul. Thank you for sharing that, Charlie. If hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for that, and that really truly is the message that is driving me the most nowadays. Be who you can be, do what you can do, and live a good life. So that's a great way to end the call. I appreciate all of you. Talk to you real soon. Take care.